I will start from Parliament. Parliament's Energy Committee has bemoaned a recent increase in tariffs by PURC, insisting Ghanaians rather deserve a reduction. PURC on Tuesday announced that electricity tariffs for all customer categories will rise from 9.86%, while water increases by 15.92%. The PURC says this decision follows months of investment hearings, stakeholder consultations, and regional public forums held across the country as part of the regulatory process. But Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament, Collins Adumaku-Mensah, believes Ghanaians rather deserve a reduction.
This 200 and something percent that ECG and the other utilities were looking for, there was no way as Parliament or as committee we're going to support that. In fact, I recall PURC inviting the MPP to a stakeholder meeting, and we indicated to them that for us at this particular point in time, especially with some positives with the inflation and the exchange rate stability, we're looking forward to a reduction. In fact, when the third quarter adjustment came up, we had cause as a committee leadership to invite PURC to explain to us why the increment, because we thought that the factors that normally necessitate an increment were doing quite well. Inflation had come down, exchange rate was stable, so we were surprised that they wanted to increase tariffs. But if you read the release from PURC at the time, the third quarter adjustment, they included some few things that we had not seen before. They included the reserve margins as part of the factors. They even talked about fuel as part of the factors, which used not to be the case, especially when they had brought in the 1 Ghana cedi also to serve the same purpose. So we were quite alarmed that that happened. In the fourth quarter, we realized that they had taken out the fuel component. And if you recall, it went up by just a little below 2%. Now, PURC had a meeting with us. They indicated to us that they have what they call the major tariff adjustment, which normally happens every 3 years, 3 to 5 years. And the minister had given us a hint in the first 2025 budget that they intend to roll out that major tariff adjustment in the last quarter. And so we were expecting something like this, just that the amounts they were talking about was clearly very, very outrageous. 200% increment in electricity. I doubt if any government will allow that. But fortunately, those were just proposals. Yesterday, we woke up to hear that they've gone ahead to increase electricity by how much? Electricity has gone up by 9.86, and then water has gone up by 15.92%. Now, I've taken my time to read the release. Now, and this morning, I've had the chance to speak to some officials of PURC. This particular increment is to take care of capital expenditure and some aspect of operational expenditures. So this ECG increment of 9-point-something% is just to deal with the utilities capital requirements for the period 2025 to 2029 or 2030. Yes, what this means is that between this period, they are not coming back to us to request for another increment in tariff to take off capital expenditure.
Well, Transport Minister Joseph Boakari-Nikpe has dismissed allegations of unapproved budget spending and unauthorized charges. The airport minority leader Alexander Fanyumakin, during the approval of the Transport Ministry budget in Parliament, said the ministry had overspent its 2025 budget allocation by more than 9 million Ghana cedis without recourse to parliamentary approval.
If you look at table 3, there is a huge scandal at table 3, page 6, table 3, a huge scandal. Capital expenditure, 2025 appropriation, what we approved in this house, 83 million. Releases, 92 million. somebody must go to jail. Then when you come and see actual expenditure, 92 million, variance, negative 9.4. Somebody must account for this 9.4 million. It is clear that many of you are likely to go to jail. From what I am seeing, Mr. Speaker, just year one alone, only yesterday, you were on us. The slightest mistake, you'll be inviting MPP appointees to go to OSP, to go to NIB. Mr. J. Mensah himself admits by signing this report that there is some chop that has gone on.
Member of Parliament for Kankwe Central Patrick Boma also raised concerns about government's plan to increase airport service charge from 5 cedis to as much as 150 Ghana cedis.
Airport passenger service charge from 5 Ghana cedis to 100 cedis per passenger. The government is hiding this in the report. Mr. Speaker, 100,000% increase, from 1,000% increase, from 5 Ghana cedis to 1,200 Ghana cedis per passenger on both domestic and international flights. Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious charge that the country must be made aware of. Mr. Speaker, airport tax, is this the resetting that now you can't even drive on our roads? Flying to has become too expensive. Is that what they promised this country? From 5 Ghana cedis to 100 Ghana cedis.
The Sector Minister Joseph Bokarindipe has rejected the claims. He says the increment is only a proposal subject to approval in the fees and charges bill and not targeted at local travels.
We didn't overspend our internally generated funds. What happened was that the Ghana Maritime Authority in 2021-2022 contracted some loans from EcoBank and other financial institutions. But it wasn't catered for, the repayment wasn't catered for in the budget. So the Ghana Maritime Authority wrote to me, asking me to do same to the Minister for Finance, to allow us do some environments and service the loan that they contracted, the loan that they took to build the Tama office block, the Accra office, and the Takura Day office. So we were rather making provisions to continue with the construction of the projects that they took money and couldn't finish. It is not that we overspend. As an opposition, he needed to make that to his supporters. So if you listen to him, he was not asking for a response of this. He just wanted to speak to the public. When I got up to respond, you saw that he left the chamber. So deliberately, he didn't ask this to get answers from me. He just wanted to talk to the general public. Most of our airports, except Kotoka International Airport, the rest are dependent on the Kotoka International Airport. So the committee was recommending to the House such that in the next Fees and Charges Act, the ministry be considered to increase our airport passenger service charge. So what was said, I had to rebut what they said, is that since 2014, we have not increased any airport passenger service charge at our airport. It has remained same, and there's a need that we should do something to increase our revenue volumes to be able to cater and run our airport to be the enviable airport within the West Africa sub-region. If you have traveled of late within the West Africa sub-region, you understand that the Kotoka International Airport is one of the best airports. And we have to keep it at that level and again have to improve upon it. So the committee, for emphasis, only recommended to the House. It was not an increment that we have made.
Well, we focus on Galamsey next. Chiefs in the Aguna-Nyakron traditional area in the central region are asking government to take measures against Galamsey, which has destroyed the Ayensu River. Years ago, the people fought illegal miners who tried to invade their land and also the river. But today, Galamsey in the region has turned that same river into mud, leaving more than 10 districts without clean water. Emmanuel Jivenu reports.
One guy was the one lobby we says can go to no pet. Now, when you go to no penno, one if you won't. The Wuska were penny in the arsenal. I'm my younger and say what in Chinese.
The chiefs in the Aguna-Nyakron traditional area are in a council meeting. They are meeting because an old wound has been reopened.
If he Galamsey, Yankasa. Yem penny for gun, a bit wooden hobby. Miakoshaba, Minister Koto, Machina, Galamsey.
Years ago, they fought and stopped illegal miners who attempted to dig close to the Ayensu River within their lands. They resisted and protected the river. They won the battle, but the war has returned. The river they saved is dying because of illegal mining in Apepem of the eastern region.
Now, for about 10 years, yes, in Sunino, it's a this ain't kind of it's a the Sweeney Park call Apepem. Go share meetings, as a son. What bad no report of the bad say Galamsey. What to Galamsey? I feel you say sooner I feel the color no. I am more. Who says the cry? Who said the thing one the Wunsun? But for about almost 1 year, I feel the eye west. I could see about 3 months ago.
The Kwenyako treatment plant, which feeds about 10 districts, is now struggling to feed even one. As the chiefs sit in council, frustrated by the Galamsey crisis upstream, the impact hits residents like Kofi. He has no choice but to use the polluted Ayensu River to wash his family's clothes.
He said, I know, your face, and the first, and one yes, I did Biane, Yakwe Foma, and one yes, I had to go bush, Yadoko Juma, Yanom. What you pipe nation, and which anyone ever saw, Yanom, Yadi, Bennett, you do fan yes, you. The young penny flow, dear. What you are, one was a watch and a man, what am I? It is only I say, young boys, I can say you to me, I call and you what can I say, what do call penny funua? Yati, by Siana was saying, my Siana, and I assume to me for God bless you, to me, I got the only a cold in Manso. Yakoya, I shall, I could be you. It's the emperor of the enemy. And yes, sir, won't say one share my young, they see the bread.
With the Ayensu River heavily polluted and the treatment plant failing, an equally polluted stream is now a source of water for many households. Children bathe in it. Mothers wash their babies in it. Families fetch it for cooking and drinking. This, a stream beside a mountain of refuse, is now their lifeline.
Yes, you know, my son. Galamsey for my son. It's a day share in ye. Pipe is our matum. Also, na machine. A fino. I say machine. Ntama this yano, or my stop. Anka your water west were hang, cadent nanka, young betraying. It's a yensu na say. Then you be able to my top pure water, intimate top pure water in Jolly. It's a way, and a be used.
The cratchet, your problem. Into more summer. One country bank, Nanon Crawford. Say you had a brepa. One was ye. Then soon you have cried, what you are capable of reaching on them. Yesterday, initially,
Dear Mahama, The people who once defended the Yensu River now watch it die at the hands of illegal miners they cannot confront.
We are catching them. When I'm away from Mukanchi paying for a gunka and I was my journal say, Yebre pa into woman, but they are not. Yaku Damno, or maybe my young.
Families are desperate. Children are exposed. Several districts are running out of clean water. Illegal mining is now more than an environmental issue. It is a threat to survival. Emmanuel Jivenu, JoyNews, Aguna Nyakrum, Central Region.
Meanwhile, traditional leaders in Hwediem in the Ahafo region have reaffirmed their support for an intensified anti-Galamsey campaign. The chiefs say they will combat unlawful acts from any group and remain committed to peace, development and respect for the rule of law in Hwediem. Emmanuel Edujemfi reports.
Some weeks after a joint police-military operation led to mass arrests in Kenyasi and Hwediem, chiefs in the area say they fully support the national fight against illegal mining, but insist innocent residents must not be made to pay for acts they did not commit. More than 150 people were detained and transported to Kumasi for investigations after NIMO's personnel were held at the Hwediem police station, sparking a national conversation. Bafo in Sia Ewa is the Maria of Hwediem traditional area. Hwediem is a peaceful community. We are against violence and illegal mining. What happened at the police station last month was disrespectful and embarrassing. We are apologizing to President Mahama and Ghanaians on the Naimos Onikrom incident. It will never happen again. The Adontenhinen, Bafoche and Nefi appealed to the president to ensure innocent people are released. Most of the people arrested were innocent travelers, traders and farmers. We are urging President Mahama to get them released and let the law deal with those found guilty. The traditional council stressed that Hwediem remains peaceful and should not be labeled a security hotspot. Nana Esifi Jima Dadiakon is the Benkumene. Hwediem is a law-abiding community. Most of the people living here are strangers and people of diverse backgrounds. We have coexisted with them here without any disturbances. Hwediem is indeed very peaceful.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu is expected to meet officials of the Office of the Special Prosecutor following allegations he made against Special Prosecutor Kesia Jabing. Mr. Pebu, speaking on a live television program, accused the Special Prosecutor of impropriety and claimed he facilitated the departure of former Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta from the country earlier this year. In response, the SP issued a summons asking him to substantiate the claims as part of its inquiries. However, the office says Mr. Pebu, during a previous appearance, declined to answer questions. Let's take you live now to the OSP headquarters in Accra. Fatal Bayaga is there for us. What can you report, Fatal?
Mame, in the next 1 hour and 30 minutes, Martin Pebu would be arriving here to meet a team of investigators. In fact, he is here to substantiate some of the claims that he made against the Special Prosecutor and the office itself. So we understand that in the next 1 hour 30 minutes, Martin Pebu would be here to meet the team. And in fact, the last time he came here, he said that he cooperated with the team in terms of the questioning process. But later we saw information on Facebook posted by the Director of Research and Communication, Sami Dako, who said that Martin Pebu clearly did not, cooperated with the team when questions were posed. But later, Martin Pebu was arguing that, during the process, he complied. The interrogation process was quite cordial and all of that. So it's quite surprising that the Director of Communication for the OSP said that he did not cooperate with the investigative team. So that's the situation here. In the next 1 hour 30 minutes, Martin Pebu would be here to meet the team in relation to this particular issue.
Now Ghana's inflation rate has dropped for the 11th consecutive month, easing to 6.3% in November 2025 from 8.0% in October, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report released by the Ghana Statistical Service. Government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu, who presented the data in Accra, said the decline was driven largely by reductions in both food and non-food items. My colleague Winston Taki joins me from the Ghana Statistical Service headquarters with more on this. Winston, another huge drop, but there are some items still driving inflation. What are they? Unmute and speak to us. Great.
Yes, thank you, Mami. This is another very huge, significant drop, and it's the 11th consecutive time since 2019. And when you look at the data, it shows that food and non-food inflation continued to ease or drop in the month of November. And this time around, food inflation fell by 6.6% in November, down from 9.5%. And non-food inflation also eased from 6.9% to 6.1%. These are key development where we literally saw locally produced items fall from 8.0% to 6.8% just in November. The key items within the food inflation continue to put pressure, causing the decline to ease. Basically, vegetable, non-oil, and also some yam related items continue to put pressure on the overall inflation. But if you look at it from the regional dynamics, it tells you that the Savannah region continues to have the lowest inflation recorded compared to the Northeast region, which recorded the highest inflation rate of 12.2% in the month of November. So according to the figure released by the Ghana Statistical Service, there is still a significant drops or pressure coming down, and it's optimistic that due to the reduction in the significant drop in the forex rate, that the CD performance is very reflective in most of these dynamics, and it's looking forward that most businesses should slow down in pricing in order to ensure the household pressure is brought down, basically.
Thank you, Winston Taki, for that update. Well, Technical Universities Senior Administrators Association of Ghana is on strike protesting what it says is government persistent and inexplicable delay in paying one-time research allowance. President of TUSAAG, Stanley Akamiri Abopam, joins us for that conversation. We're grateful for your time. And exactly how much is government owing you? Can you hear me, sir? Kindly unmute and speak to us.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. How much does government owe you?
Well, government owes us a one-time research allowance, a figure that was determined at $1,600 per person.
And you're on strike now. Have you reached out or heard from government on the next steps to take or when they're going to pay?
Well, the strike has been predicated on our failure or the failure of government to give us a listening ear, for which reason we've had to declare the strike. And so we're waiting on them.
So at this moment that you're on strike, but then what is the impact on academic activities?
We have technically brought the technical universities' administrative operations to a halt. Mind you, the senior administrators are those in the class of junior assistant registrar to our management level registrars, directors of finance, directors of work. Okay. Everybody in that class of workers belong to TUSAAG. And so technically, we have grounded activities in the technical universities to a halt.
And you're not returning until your research payments are made?
Yes, we are not returning until we have something concrete to hold on.
Right. Thank you very much. President of TUSAAG, Stanley Akamiri, there explaining the reasons for their strike. Well, JoyNews checks reveal more than 50 students of the KJB Asato Senior High School have been hospitalized after parts of the school were razed. The inferno completely burnt all belongings of more than 300 students' fighting equipment. Let's get updates from Peter Senu. Peter, so what are the conditions of these students who've been in the hospital?
Well, Mami, as of last night, what I can report is that the 50 students have been attended to at the various health facilities that the school have sent them to in and around KGB, and they have safely arrived back to the school premises for to rest and then continue with academic work tomorrow, except one school girl that we understand, though not directly related to the fire, but her condition is not stable yet, so the health authorities or officials are taking care of her at the health facility. But the over 50 students who were rushed to the various facilities are back to the school premises and are doing fairly well, we can report.
Do we know exactly what caused this inferno and what's the extent of damage?
Well, preliminary reports JoyNews has cited indicate that the source is unknown, because the fire service couldn't point specifically to what exactly caused the fire. But conversations around, speculations are around that the student may have done some illegal connection within the ceiling. You know, students are not allowed to use mobile phones in school. And so we want to believe that some of them may have done some illegal connections that may have triggered this fire that destroyed all items in that particular dormitory room entirely. So from official sources, we do not know, but speculations are that students may have tampered with some wirings or electrical installations at the facility.
And the extent of damage, I mean, their dormitory block was affected. Do they have a place, temporary place they will be, staying until something is done?
Yes, please. A temporary place has been provided, which is also an uncompleted building, but mosquito nettings and then door have been provided to that facility to temporarily contain the students there. And in fact, the adjoining room to where got burnt, students they don't want to move out, but they are currently occupying there. But in case of any rainstorm, everything they will get wet. So authorities are impressing upon students to temporarily move to where has been allocated to them so that they can, re-roof that particular portion. Of course, we also do know that NADMO is also making some efforts to come to the school and donate some items to get the place fixed. A while ago, I was interacting with the free SHS coordinator. He also said the string that he would have to pull for the place to get fixed for the student, and even that uncompleted facility, he would do it so that students feel safe and then learn in a congenial atmosphere that will lead to their success at the final examination, Mami.
Right, thank you very much for that update. We go now to the Lands Ministry, where the Lands Minister is addressing the media on the lithium deal.
Our mineral resources will always be guided by the law. Currently, the applicable royalty rate for mining operation, including lithium, as you know, he said, as set or stated by law. And what is in the books right now, and let me talk about the history of this amendment that has happened. There was an initial royalty rate of 3 to 6%. It was amended and was stated that royalty will be at 5%. And then there was another amendment that says that it will be by an act as applicable by law. What was missing was that the instrument that should guide that applicable by law was never in place. And so, technically speaking, what you could refer to was the original one, which says that 5%. I'm very happy to inform you that we've worked closely with the Attorney General. We'll be coming to, once we finish your cabinet, we'll be coming to Parliament with a new instrument that will permanently lay a complete, comprehensive guideline on royalties, not only in the lithium sector, but in all minerals. It's very important we do so, having learned lessons as we go forward. Learn lessons. It was very clear, for example, not too long ago, the announce of gold was what? 1,900, 2,500, went over 3,000 and close to 4,000. There's no other mechanism for you to do any adjustment, for example. And so I thought this is the opportunity for us to basically review all of that. And I'm happy to inform you that I've taken the steps to do exactly that. And as I go back to the lithium agreement, the recent downturn in global lithium prices has put several lithium projects around the world on hold and on other strain. And so this project that we are talking about is no exception. The project was stalled as the advocates came to inform us. And obviously, you know that jobs will be lost. Jobs that had been planned to be created will all not come on. Your local economy will clearly be affected. And so this new market reality necessitates a review of the physical terms to protect the national interest. I must let you know that before we even got here, the whole House of Chief of the Central Region visited His Excellency the President, the members of Parliament, key stakeholders, came to make a strong case on why this project cannot stall, and that why this program is critical for the Central Region and, frankly, the people of Ghana. The President invited all of us, and as usual, his question was, how do we go forward? What is the solution? How do we find a path forward that makes sure that the project goes forward and at the same time that Ghana wins? And so it is in that spirit that we are having this discussion. As I have stated, the recent market development have underscored the limitations of a static royalty system. Clearly, it is therefore incumbent upon us to consider a more responsive mechanism. A more responsive mechanism that can respond to the changing market conditions. That will also ensure that our country wins at all times. Because nobody can convince me that when an ounce of gold was 2,000 and the royalty is 5%, when it gets to 4,000, we can't have a discussion about an adjustment. Clearly, this is a clear opportunity to review all the royalty in the whole mining sector. And I'm happy I'm doing exactly that. And so to balance this objective, government is proposing a lawful sliding scale royalty mechanism. This structure is designed to safeguard investment and jobs while maintaining a competitive base royalty during periods of low prices. That's ensuring the project's viability. And we are also it's not lost on us that Ghana is not an isolated place. We are competing with other countries in terms of investment. And so, for example, when we are in a very low period where things are not going very well and countries have responded to that, we must be very strategic to also respond. And it is in that spirit that is guiding us in what we are doing. So concurrently, it serves to maximize the national benefit by automatically increasing the royalty rate when lithium prices exceed an agreed upon threshold, ensuring Ghana secures a greater share of the value during market upswings. This approach is not secession, but a strategic tool to prevent the project from stalling while guaranteeing the nation gains a fair share of the value when market conditions improve. And there has been a lot of argument. Some people were arguing that, when we negotiated a price at $3,000, the royalty was at 10%. I can tell you that what the sliding scale we are doing here is going to probably ensure even a more beneficial approach, because we foresee, for example, that at $3,000, we are not only going to achieve the 10% royalty, as has been negotiated, but we are also putting in mechanisms that when the prices go beyond 3,000, we'll go beyond 10%, and we'll go to 11% on others. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think I wanted to let the people of Ghana know that this government will not shortchange the people of Ghana. We have a responsibility to protect the interests of this republic. And I'm very happy that members of parliament are here. And I chatted with a lot of them. We are working together with them to ensure that my new instrument will really kick in before any approval of the Lithium agreement, so that the people and the people of Ghana gets all the advantages. But to say that we have listened to all the voices and we are taking steps to make sure that we win not only the project coming on, but we also make sure that the people of Ghana and Ghana really gets value for money on the resources that God has endowed us. I thank you very much. Niamika ya nise. Say royalty asemi ya kan ho asema. Nearby and say royalty company a friend by almost start ejime ya che. Omo ya ejuma ji asase aji nkrofo asase aye ejuma ne edu baby a. Ya negotiate agreement no edu baby.
And we heard there the Lands Minister, Amakofibwa, explaining that they're going to review the royalties mechanism for the extractive sector across board to respond to market dynamics. You're still watching JoyNews Today. We'll take a break. We'll return with more.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the business segment on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojobaka. LMI Holdings says its plan to establish a multimodal transport system remains firmly on track, with Phase 1 of the Isikuma Inland Port in the Eastern Region set for completion by the end of 2026. More from Kwame Yanka.
The first phase of the Isikuma Inland Port in the Sojaman district of the Eastern Region will operate as an intermodal hub, featuring a new roll-on roll-off terminal supported by 8 barges and 2 push boats to transport freight efficiently across Lake Volta. These barges will connect to Volta Lake Transport Company landing sites at Yeji, Makango, Ketekrache, Dambai, Pando, Otidamanko, and Echiamanfrom. Complementary warehouses at these locations will further enhance agricultural storage and transport, strengthening domestic trade and improving links to northern Ghana and the Sahel. The inland port forms a major component of the Trans-Volta Logistics Network, a 762-kilometer multimodal corridor linking Tema Port to northern Ghana and the Sahel. Here is LMI Logistics Managing Director Emmanuel Apotai-Menu.
In terms of timeline, we have already started the RAM port, and we anticipate to complete the project by Q4 2026, which is next year, between November and December. Then we move to Phase 2. And so at the time of completing the Phase 1, we will have also started working on Phase 2. And so Phase 2, we are targeting starting October 2026, and within 2 years down the line, we should be able to finish. Phase 2, we are also focusing on Isikuma Port and also Debre Port. Debre Port, we have already acquired the land, but just that we've not been able to go there. But the people at Debre know that we are coming to you next year to continue the conversation that we started. So within 2 years after 2026, we should have completed the container port.
Contractor for the project, who doubles as the project manager for Transborder Logistics, Engineer Samuel Yabo-Ofori, revealed that the barges to be used on the Volta Lake will be built locally.
We are going to produce the barges on site. We are not importing the barges. So we wouldn't be able to tell the definite number of staff, but we are going to have fabricators, we're going to have architects, we're going to have engineers, we're going to have mechanical people, we're going to have electrical engineers, we're going to have down to laborers, masons. So if we are not overly projecting, we are looking beyond 500 workers at a time here doing the various activities. There are a lot of the activities that are going to happen concurrently. So it wouldn't be a finish to start only. This activity might be going on whilst another is going on. We will have almost every team working at the same time. So well over 1,000 direct and indirect engagement.
The International Finance Corporation, IFC, reaffirmed its commitment to the project. Here is the IFC Senior Country Manager, Kyle Kelhofer.
As you may be aware, IFC, we are the largest development finance institution globally, financing over $50 billion annually around the world. Over the past 2 years, we've financed over $800 million for Ghana, and we're delighted to do more. Our role is job creation through economic development, through critical infrastructure needed for vital manufacturing, through regulations for access to finance. But the fundamental goal is job creation, particularly for the youth of the countries in which we work. So as such, we're delighted to be here today to support this project.
Key stakeholders present included the IFC, Volta River Authority, Ghana Railway Development Authority, Ministry of Transport, Ghana Port and Harbors Authority, EcoBank, China Harbour Engineering Ghana Limited, the 24-hour Economic Secretariat, traditional authorities from Enum and Akwemu, and the Etujaman District Assembly.
And that's it for Business, Mambisi.
Thank you, Pius, for that. And still watching Joy News Today here on the Joy News channel. We'll be right back after this break.
Not at all. In fact, once the agreement is in Parliament, it is really in the custody of Parliament. And I'm very happy to know that as a fifth-term member of Parliament, I know the workings of Parliament. I know that this committee is going to do a very thorough job. They have a long journey. I know they've lined up engagement with key stakeholders, including CSOs, including the chiefs, including the community. I believe they are going to basically also start this engagement, this journey. Today, for example, I know they are meeting some of the chiefs from Mankesim, this committee. So it's something that they are going to work on. So we are working on a parallel path, and I believe we'll converge. And ultimately, this is what I'm saying. By the time we finish, Ghana will win.
There was a hand yet. I'm Timothy from the Delegate. I want to find out the new regime you are bringing on board. I want to find out which timelines you are working towards. What are the timelines?
Oh, weeks. I have already finished as I said, we already have the draft. We have the drafters who have really informed us that they'll be able to get it to us by today. We'll continue the engagement once we have it. And then I'm finally going to take you to Cabinet, get Cabinet to look at it. I've already had a preliminary engagement with key stakeholders even before we started the journey. And so we think we're on the right path. What is important and what even the parliamentary committee accepts is that the last royalty amendment that was done, that says it should be prescribed by law, should have been followed by an instrument that laid out the structure of those prescriptions. That is what was missing. And I'm happy that we are taking the leadership to basically fill that vacuum. So I thank you. Yes, Abusia.
Yes.
and they say PMP, meaning say I could in a assassin as a man said, Mamma Penny Fesomai.
Yes.
They will assassin will rent it and another him from some custodians. A year this royalty, I say minister and make a reference to the time. Yeah, sir, concession, media. Now my baby Jehon Crata send me baby to Lithium. Intimate me to a now my man buying royalty credit, no my family I can. Meanwhile, law they say you know, and so I'm baby. Only back to my mamma in your son for so. I buy if you say, I buy be take over. No be our person your concession. Yeah, the amount the about your mamma buying. At the end of the day, it benefits the whole people.
Right. That's it. I'm so website sampa. Nedika, I the same Becca said, apart from instrument here, you two and more in the last 10 months, said, in she share Pia a war on my CS son. Bakuna Oka once me. And check, Ubunse Mining and Mineral Act, no, Act 703, no. Yeah, yes, I can see a power. Sa kese na ye wom ni nyina ne se pese transparency ye adwuma wom na se bi Ghana fo a se omunya ho mfaso no omunya saa tumi no. For example, yaka niema pia bi na na waka ho asemi e ba ne sen na obi kura nim baby abole wo nso eno ane se wa ba akra oni mobi wo Minerals Commission when your licenses, you share Google, na you share map and also when your concession or koya or some baby your friend is saying mining penny for more how magic a cry and shishamu and one say abe and yes a banisa nti mrafu fra ye proposals pi na wo na ncha wo bon say de be pia bontin ne say ansana ya wa krafo ya beji saade na tumo na nipa na nkasa wakọ district mu wakọ ye engagement waka niema o be ye adwuma no ni omu hia wo ho ni obeya amomu assembly no traditional authorities omu ho area ne mu nyina ni me no. It is our recommendation be ba and sana when your licenses all kohono no nye nipa foforo biom. Ni nyina ye niema ye kan wasem ba ko a wo kai a ene MDF asem nti na ye Mineral Development Fund. Say sa agudie no baby a ye yi fie no ye de musika ni bi ko na ye koye mputu djuma ho. Na nia Wisha ne M1 said, Sanya may work no, and so nye. Until we shall new money agreement na ye no. The yen compulsory say there will be community development agreement. What Obia or ye lease and now money licenses no. Development agreement was sa area no ebe wo mu account. Ama wo kwa ye ejuma ya dia afi na community no. Ebe babi jina ho na bo modin ahwe wanhwe kura na akoyeza ahene o se ahemfie nko na mepesi mami ese yehu se community no ankesa no die na de omo akoma so bi omo hia school omo pe scholarship a ye de ba every year omo se engineers be 5 sa agreement no and na company no so be guide in the past no CSR corporate social responsibility Usha companies be mining companies. Be a no more ni omo pe no mo yo. Ni nyina be sesa wo new agreement. Nti madam wasipi.
Thank you. We should have some attention to some members of the committee who want to make a few remarks.
Does any member want to make a comment?
And that was the Lands Minister from the Lands Ministry answering questions to the lithium deal. That's how we wrap up this bulletin here on Joy News. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Up next is Marketplace.